You, hey you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Are you tired of the same old podcasts with the same old panels and the same old rhetoric? So am I. So come spend time with me, where you can have a laugh, be entertained, and learn something. I'm your host, Nova, and welcome to School of Thot. Class is in session. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Nova Star, your host here at School of Thot. We have quite an array going on today, don't we? We've got all kinds of stuff. We've got, hold on a second, I'm having a technical difficulty. That seems to be the theme song of the day lately when I go live. We've got controversy with Netflix and Elon calling for bans and boycotts. We've got Trump winning lawsuits, yay, for free speech and less discrimination of those of us who are on the conservative side. Thank you very much. We've got mysteries and eerie tales coming for you. The Gurdon tale out of Kentucky, I do believe it is. Yes, the Gurdon Light, the tale of the Gurdon Light. And then we've got Dave Mustain's chilling witchcraft tales and hexes and confessions. Ooh, baby, that's interesting, huh? Well, I hope everybody's having a great Friday night. I am home. I'm not out partying like the rest of you. And I've got so much stuff going on. It's not even funny. I actually have one of the creators for toilet dust. He's coming up. As soon as I get moved, I'm going to be interviewing him for the meme coin of toilet dust. That thing is still sticking around strong, and we're looking to continue to push the community. We've got Jaya coming up, moving on up. We've had Bitcoin hitting all-time highs again. We've got all kinds of things. I've got somebody from Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Mike P, as an interview. I've got my own doctor. We've got men's health coming up for all you gentlemen, because we know I love you boys and you guys need some loving just like us ladies do. All right, so let's take a look at what is going on with Trump. Now, this is a big win, because everybody's been getting, well, my opinion, and I've actually experienced it. All of our posts would get knocked off and stuff like that if it wasn't part of what they liked, right? So now we've got some momentum where class action suits are going to start coming into play for everybody. YouTube, Disney, and Meta have all settled inside President Trump's $90 million payday. I can't put this one on to the shared screen for some reason, so I'll just read it to you and then we'll move on. YouTube became the latest media and tech company to settle one of President Trump's lawsuits. On Monday, YouTube became the latest, wow, that was the title. Sorry about that. The Google-owned streamer agreed to pay $24.5 million to settle a lawsuit. Trump filed after his account was banned following January 6th of 21 riots in the U.S. Capitol. It brings Trump's haul from media and tech companies to more than $90 million in the last year. Some of these suits deal with conflicts the President Trump has experienced with news networks such as ABC, CBS. Others confront the fallout from the attack on the U.S. Capitol. Too bad this wasn't, other people could join in on this one. I'm sure that's coming up again. Some of the settlement money will pay for the renovations to the presidential library. Trump is building a 2.6 acres of waterfront property in Miami over funds. Other funds will go to the nonprofit Trust for the National Mall with the intent of building a Mar-a-Lago-style ballroom. Well, that would be fun, which is expected to cost around $200 million overall. Here's a rundown on the payouts, though. YouTube, $24.5 million after the January 6th attacks on the Capitol. YouTube suspended the president's account on the platform because of Trump's alleged role in the insurrection. Alleged, mind you. At the time, the company had cited concerns about the ongoing potential for violence and violation of its policies for inciting violence. Trump's lawsuits filed in 2021 at the U.S. District Court in Northern California argued the account suspension was censorship before the case was settled, YouTube had already lifted its suspension on Trump in March 2023. So for all of the lefties and everybody who wants to say that people are not getting censored, well, here we go. This is a really big one, right? In light of the then up-and-coming presidential race, in the court documents filed Monday, Alphabet, the parent company of YouTube and Google, which is in Silicon Valley, in San Jose, by the way, they did not admit any wrong in the matter, but the company did not agree to make any policy or product changes in the deal either. YouTube is also stating that of the 24.5 million, 22 million is going to Trump, who will contribute the money to the trust for the National Mall, which is dedicated to restoring, preserving, and elevating the National Mall, as well as supporting the construction of the White House State Ballroom. These are great things, by the way. According to the filing, Alphabet will also have to pay an additional 2.5 million to other plaintiffs in the case, including the American Conservative Union and writer Naomi Wolf. Now, here we're scrolling down. It talks about Meta and Twitter and X, 35 million. Social media platforms, Facebook, now Meta, and Twitter, now X, has suspended Trump's account over January 6, 2021 at the time. Twitter put out the statement saying that recent tweets from his account and the context around them, specifically how they are being received and interpreted on and off Twitter, had to be suspended to avoid the risk of further incitement of violence. Mr. Zuckerberg of Meta also posted a statement on Facebook after banning Trump's Meta accounts. He wrote, "We believe the risks of allowing the president to continue to use our service during this period are simply too great." In January of that year, Trump sued the companies for censorship. Ooh, baby, I can smell massive lawsuits all over the place coming up from all those other people who got knocked off. By January 2023, though, Meta had reinstated Trump's Facebook and Instagram accounts, as had X in 22. Shortly before Trump was going to take off for a second term, in January 2025, Meta decided to pay the incoming president $25 million to settle this lawsuit, and Elon Musk, who had purchased Twitter and renamed it X, in the interim agreed to pay $10 to settle in Trump's case. Let me get a little something to drink here. Getting a little dry and allergies. All right. Actually, let's take a little break for a second and say hello to the chat. Bama, my buddy, is also Mr. Bama Law right here. We are actually in talks right now about doing our interview with him also, who is a great attorney. And this will be interesting. We'll talk about life, and then we'll have a question and answer afterwards. Sean is in the house, one of our financial gurus, a spittle buggy, great tech person, wonderful moderator in person. We've got, where is P-Fletch? P-Fletch, is P-Fletch, are you here yet, honey? You better be. All of you who are piling in, please remember to like and to subscribe. It helps in the algorithms and helps out your teacher. Let's wrap it up with Paramount Global, $16 million to resolve Trump's legal salvo against CBS. 60 minutes over the editing of an interview with his 2024 opponent, then Vice President Kamala Harris. Trump claimed 60 Minutes producers edited an interview with Harris to make her look better and bolster her chances in the election. CBS denied those claims, of course, saying the edits were standard and the case was reviewed and frivolous by First Amendment experts. However, Trump wrote on Truth Social that CBS did everything possible to illegally elect Kamala, including completely and corruptly changing major answers to interview questions, but it just didn't work for them. Last May, CBS offered $16 million to settle the lawsuit, the civil lawsuit filed in Texas. Lump sum included presidential's legal fees and an agreement to 60 Minutes will release transcripts of interviews with future presidential candidates. Well, thank goodness for that, because they're crooked as a dog's hind leg. Less than a month later, the settlement, the Federal Communications Commission approved Skydance Media's acquisition of Paramount, which owns CBS. Disney, $16 million. Yeah, pay it out, Disney. Early last year, ABC News anchor George Stephanopoulos, did I say that right? Yeah, I did. Asserted on the network's This Week news program that Trump was found liable for Baby. Graping writer E. Jean Carroll in May of 2023, jury in New York declined to find Trump liable for rape, but did find him liable for sexual abuse of Carroll. Yeah, that's a soft form of well, we can't really prove it, but it's slightly negligible. But here we go. We'll put it on the books anyway. Trump responded to the on-air comments with a defamation lawsuit filed in federal court in Florida. Lawsuit was settled by ABC News, owned by Disney. Last December, Disney agreed to pay $15 million towards Trump's presidential library and $1 million of Trump's legal fees. Ooh, baby, it is coming, isn't it? It sure is. All right, anybody else to say hello to in the chat? Is my chat working very well? I don't know. Let's say hello to everyone in there. Hello, everyone. Now, this is actually being streamed right now also to X and also to Twitch. I am trying to make milestones and grind this thing out while I'm trying to do 16 other million things. It's been fun, not really. But you know what? Perseverance and persistence is the key to success. Trust me when I say that. Let's add to the stage what is going on. Among all of those lawsuits, my goodness, we've got all kinds of stuff going on. Let me find, where did the link go? 1 second. It's a circus. Right, there we go. That's better, right? How's the view? If anybody could let me know how the sound check is and the view in the vertical, I would much appreciate it. I did this layout earlier, and I'm trying to see if it's sticking. Let's see what Elon Musk has been saying about the canceling Netflix by courtesy of Valuetainment.
And parents eventually made a point to folks to say, can you just stop it? Can you stop it with all this stuff with kids? No. Netflix is like, we're going to double down. Then Netflix didn't watch what happened to Disney. Netflix didn't sit there and say, oh my God, look at all the mess Disney going through. Netflix didn't pay attention to the fact that, the Disney stock went from $388 billion market cap, give or take, to half that. They weren't paying attention to it. And then all of a sudden they're like, no.
I don't even like Netflix very much. Their stock plummeted. I kind of feel like most of their programming is pretty, it's just all the same stuff all over again. I don't particularly like their licensing. Now, I know Obama and that little Cortez chick, AOC, she got her little hand in that bucket too. And honestly, I think the whole thing should just go away. Come on, Elon. Let's make a new competitor and put everything that was ever created on the library for everyone to watch. Wouldn't that be wonderful if we could watch everything from the 1920s, 1910, all the way through? I think that would be awesome. And people wouldn't get bored.
We're going to continue going with this. So, Rob, which one do you want to go with? What can we play to react to? Because some of this stuff is in the show, so I don't know if we can show them or not.
But
can we show pictures?
Yeah, I have tweets from Elon Musk as well as the Netflix stock.
So why don't we do this? So here's cancel Netflix.
Hey, Blood. Glad you're in.
Lives of TikTok tweets this just a couple days ago. It says, holy shit.
Watch this.
Show on Netflix, The Babysitter Club pushes transgenderism on kids, shames characters for misgendering, and demands hospital staff refer to and treat a boy as a girl. Insanity. This is one. Okay. Next one, Rob. If you want to go to the other one.
And did you see? I don't know if you saw.
I saw the
video.
clip.
Is disgusting.
It's out. Can you narrate maybe what happened?
She's coming in there, and the kid's going through, I don't know, transition or whatever, and the doctor and the nurse misgender the girl that's laying there, or boy or whatever. So the friend goes, "Can I talk to you guys outside?" Goes outside and has to correct the doctor and the nurse.
That's ridiculous. In the moments of him doing this story, when he gets done with this, I'm going to tell a story about Netflix in around 2018, 2019, I want to say. It might have been 2020. And I'll tell you something I saw there. It made my toes curl when I caught my little guy watching this.
That she is a he and he's, it's like, bro, what?
stop.
And by the way, parents, guys, you guys have no idea. When parents just go, honey, go watch Netflix, and they give them a remote and they leave, you have no idea the subliminal little messages. You don't think kids are looking at this going, huh, what is that?
And they mimic it. They go home and they mimic it. And that's a form of indoctrination.
Yeah, and Pat, and I know you want to, I don't know if we can shorten that. I sent Rob, I actually screenshot and recorded.
Let's just play.
We can play the audio for the audience and for the video for you guys and not show the video. That way we
okay, play the audio.
So Rob, go back.
Guys,
yeah, go ahead, Rob.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It took a while, but we finally found a file for a Bailey Del Vecchio.
This is the nurse.
Is 32 Burnhill Road still the current address? Yeah. Have you been getting influence? If he's dehydrated, we'll
And by the way, it's
have him change into this.
It's
Amen to that, blood.
I hear someone's not feeling well.
When doctor comes in, the friend is looking, they're both a little visibly upset. And now the friend,
Can I please talk to you two outside?
a 12-year-old, has to talk to a doctor and a nurse about biology. Ready? Look, now she's addressing that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you guys are busy, but as you would see, if you looked at her and not her chart.
Gotta put everybody in their place, don't
What
we?
the hell is going on? Bailey is not
Mhm.
Pause it. Okay. Now, disgusting.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Disgusting. There
Very.
you have that there. Now, is this and it's called what? Babysitter's Club? Now, watch the next one, Rob. What's the other one that they have? Is this another one?
Yes, it's another cartoon that's on Netflix. I believe the name of this show is A Dead and Paranormal Park. It's a show that's geared for 7-year-olds, and we'll play the audio again.
Go ahead.
It's not the park. It's me.
Oh God.
I'm trans, Norma.
Great.
And everyone at school knows, and everyone at home knows. And being here, it's like
Stop.
a whole new place.
Pause it right
Like,
there. Rob.
I can
I'm
just-
good. I'm good. What's the other one? There's
Yeah,
another one
I
as
had
well.
a-
That the two
let's
girls
go.
are kissing each other. The cartoon. I don't know if you have that one or not.
I sent Rob a montage video,
Yeah.
Pat, just like where I screen recorded.
Anyways, there's a
I mean, we've come a long way, right? From Tom and Jerry running around chasing each other to kiss each other. We'll tell them we're not trying to sexualize children and prepare them for predators. You're sadly mistaken. That's exactly what they're doing.
bunch of them. So here's the point. So that happens. Here's what happens on Netflix's stock. Can we look at what happened on Netflix's stock?
Please.
So Netflix's stock drops. How much does it drop, Tom? Was it a dramatic drop or not really?
Not really. And
Spittlebuggy, this is why parents need to parent. Exactly. Stop thinking that the TV is going to do your job and the school systems are going to do your job, because the job they're going to do is take over, and it's not going to be one that you're going to like.
And Rob, I sent you a link for a full year look at it. So don't cry for Netflix. The stock is not that far down. What we need is if this boycott goes heavier, I sent you the link this morning, and just click on it and then click on year to date. It's ready to go. But you'll see, Pat, that they've actually been on a roll over the last year.
Ronan and
Netflix has been on
Travelers
a
is
bit of
in
a
the
roll. Now,
house.
click with it one day, click on
buddy.
year to date. Little blue box right there. Yep. Year to date.
Stock is up. So it's a bear. It's not even nothing happened.
It's down a little tiny bit,
if you
but
wanna
they're
look at
they're
all
at
time-
half a trillion. They're at 500. Look down. I think the market cap is approaching $500 billion. Just scroll down on the page a little bit. Yeah, 493. Market cap is 493. Now go back up and take a look. And there's the bounce
Logical Spark, it's good to see you again.
out of COVID. Pat drops down, but since then they're
They've
on
been
a roll.
tear. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There's been a minor blip downward.
This is why I asked the question. The question I asked is, how many people you think actually canceled Netflix? Actually canceled their membership. What do you think the number is? You think it's a real number?
I think it's 1 million.
You think so?
No.
What do you mean?
That's
Not you don't think 1 million
Only
people
now?
out of 350 million Americans
How many
canceled?
total
Hello.
subscribers have
Subscribers
Netflix
today.
have?
Yeah.
The last number I remember was 185 million, 190 million, maybe higher today. That was a few years ago when we did some. It's probably got to be in the 205 to 210 million today.
I would hope
Let's
so.
see what the number is. 300 million. Okay. So they've killed. There are 300 million paid subscribers globally. Do you think they lost 100,000? Do you think they lost 500,000?
And they're not worried about it. Take a look at that note. Their CFO said that they will no longer identify the specific subscriber numbers in quarterly reports. They will only talk about revenue and EBITDA.
Why is that?
Well, because the subscriber numbers can jump up and down a lot, and they've got a variety of tiers. So a subscriber is not a subscriber. And they're saying it's my job to make revenue go up quarter to quarter.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk about subscribers. So a boycott like this, unless it really hit revenue, they're not going to disclose.
What
the
does
subscribers.
Netflix charge per month these days?
Netflix, I think it was like 15 or 20. I think it went up.
No.
I would really love to see at least, 30% of all of subscriptions canceled. That would make a really big statement to that company, for sure.
And mind you, what was that thing that Humberto said? You remember the show Cuties that was on there?
Yeah, that's nasty.
Rob, can you remember the show Cuties? Can you find the show Cuties?
The one that
a
we've
bunch
all
of
had still exists?
Young girls. I don't know, but Charlie Kirk, and I sent Rob Charlie Kirk posted September 11, 2020. This is your daily reminder that Susan Rice sits on the board of Netflix and the Obamas receive tens of millions of dollars from Netflix. They should be forced to answer for being part of a pedophile streaming platform. That's it right there. That's an actual tweet from Charlie. Dude, is that crazy? September 11, 2020. Is that wild, Pat? That's nuts. That is nuts.
Pat, did you cancel your Netflix?
No, we did not.
You did not. Why not?
Well, because first of all, we don't follow this closely. Our kids, we believe it or not, in our family, we're not a Netflix family. We're not. Our kids. Brooklyn watches Pink Panther from the 60s because he's got a grandpa that's 83 years old that all he wants to show her is Pink Panther from the 60s. You should see like the old school, what do you call it? Old school,
Tom and Jerry?
No. Old school, not CGI.
I tried to get my little guy to watch all the older stuff, and it's been a real challenge. They don't really seem to want to take to it, especially if they've been watching video games and whatnot. They seem to just think it's more boring. It's kind of bothersome, but push it anyway. I'll make him do what my aunt made me do and watch a bunch of musicals. Oh my gosh, that was just like, it was murder sometimes, I'll be honest with you. Some of them old musicals, like some of them were pretty decent, but oh my goodness, 3 hours, 3 hour old musicals. Yeah.
What do you call it?
Cartoons?
Old school quality cartoons, animation. Yeah, just a very level of animation that we could probably do here. If we had a weekend, we could learn how to do that type of animation on Udemy. But that's what she watches, and then we'll watch some.
That's good stuff. The old Pink Panther stuff. Yeah. There's nothing bad in that.
But here's the question, though.
That is
Tom.
not my dog.
Here's the question, though, Tom. So, does this make Netflix bolder? That's the real question. Does this make Netflix bolder? Because to Disney, they felt it immediately. Rob, can you go show the stock of Disney? Okay. Go Disney stock and go back 5 years. If you can do a 5-year thing, right there, 5 year. Okay, watch this. So guess what? They felt it. All right? Mm-hmm. They felt it. And they went from what? What was it at the peak, Rob? Can you go at the peak was 180, 197. And what's the lowest? Go like to right there, right before 2024. Look at that.
Wow.
So more than 50%. Vinny, the company lost $200 billion.
Good.
Give or take. And even today, where's it at right now, Rob? 112? So Disney is 112. Peak was 197. So from 5 years ago to today, the shares have dropped 85. What's 85 on 197? What's 85 divided by 197? Vinny, can you do it in your head real quick?
40?
85 by
42.68.
By the way, as crazy as it is, 43.1.
Bam!
Okay, so you
I was going to say the upper 30.
You got to carry the one.
Got it.
So when you think about this, Tom, why did Disney get hit so hard, and Netflix puts this transgender stuff on there in kids' faces, and they barely feel anything? What's the difference?
Well, I think there's a big difference. Disney owns a lot of the content.
The difference is it's not just about the money anymore. They've already got the money, honey. Now they're acquiring all the power. They don't really care about the money so much. They want the power.
And that people want to see. You take a look at all the stuff that they have, their library. And they also are very, very visible, and they represent something that goes back. Netflix does not have like an old school chapter that everybody remembers for their brand. I mean, think about it. What do you think of Netflix going way back? Shipping
sending you the DVDs.
Shipping DVDs. Yeah. When you go back and you think of Disney, you think
Ronan is also a wonderful financial advisor, so stay tuned for his channel. He'll be opening up a second division for that for all of you out there. He says, School of Thot, looking at the long run of Netflix, even year to date, it has not affected them by much. I would agree with you on that, and it's very unfortunate that people haven't caught on to this or at least making a stand against it. I caught my little guy one time because he was mostly just watching like Scooby-Doo and whatnot that was on there, so that was okay. And then one day I walked in and he was watching this very colorful, very almost space and it was like space and fantasy sci-fi looking artwork. And it was this host, and the host was a transsexual male with a, I want to say, I have to use G ratings for YouTube, like one of those things you see on those people walking around on their dongs, covering their dongs, and he was thrusting right in front of all of the kids and making sexual motions with his thing out there erect, but it was covered. And this is a cartoon. And from that point on, I said, no more for you. Goodbye.
Of wholesome stories. You think of
Snow White,
the happiest place on earth, friendly stuff,
children-based,
all that, children-based. Exactly right. So when Disney gets
I don't know what the name of the show was. It was like 5 years ago, and I don't even think it's on there anymore, to be honest. Ronan also said they have the Netflix Kids. Was that on the portion of their programming? Yes, it was on their portion of the programming. And yes, wow, indeed, I am not BSing anybody. And from that point on, I have not allowed him to watch anything except for some Boss Baby. And if I don't know what it is, you aren't watching it. And now he hasn't been watching it for a long time, actually. So the last time I actually subscribed to a Netflix was a couple months ago, and that was just because I wanted to watch one series, and then I canceled it right after because it sucks anyway. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Out of line. So
what happened? What happened? Did you hear something just happened?
While on the show, Tom bought 5 Dodger blue hats.
Did he really? Did you really? How the hell did you do that?
You are so funny, folks. There's a races going on. Yankees,
guys,
come on,
Yankees, come on. This guy's
you got the Dodger blue going against the. Go to VTmerch.com, type in Royal hat or Navy hat, and it'll come up. But go ahead, Tom. Make your point.
The point is Netflix doesn't have like a white hat, black hat before and after to look at. They only have, are you going to boycott it because you don't like this? Disney had the legacy of the happiest place on earth, safe for families, and all the content was there. And when Disney went crazy woke and went off there, you've got families that have got plush toys, history with Disney, plans to take a vacation and go to Disney World. And when they all go, no, 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 Disney gets hit like on 3 vectors. They get theme parks, merchandise, and movies. Then guess what? Netflix is just like, okay, we have a couple crazy movies. You don't like it? I'm sorry.
Yep.
So it's what you're boycotting and what it stands for.
And you know what's crazy though?
Hold on, let's read Michael's comment. Welcome in, Michael. Disney is having a lot of financial issues across multiple divisions. Movies flopping constantly and tourism traction down for parks, combined with the forced woke crap in telling and storytelling and hammers them. Yes, I totally agree with you. When I used to live over there, I worked over there for a little bit of time, and I steadily watched in California 2 small parks year by year, their yearly membership for Disney, which is most people in Southern California back in the day would have a yearly membership to Disney because it was cheaper than trying to go once or twice a year with your family. And, it was something to do at any time of the day in the summer or the winter if you want to go walk around and stuff. And their prices had went from like $70, at least in the early 2000s. So 70 to 80, and then it climbed to 100. And then I started watching their memberships climb to like Florida, like well over $500 per yearly, 600, 700, 1,000 per yearly ticket. It's ridiculous. And then with all of the prices of everything going up, how do they even think that people can continue to afford that? They can't.
I think they don't. I don't think they realize when it comes to Musk, his anger isn't coming from nowhere. It's personal. Okay, remember when Jordan Peterson sat with him and he said, "My son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus." Okay, and then he went, "I was tricked into doing this. I lost my son." Essentially, they called it dead naming for a reason. The reason they call it dead naming is because your son is dead. And then later on social media, he said he sharpened it more. He said, "My son Xavier died. He was killed. Now the woke mind virus will die." Okay, they made an enemy of a guy that you just said in the beginning is worth $500 billion, and he is on track to be a trillionaire. Okay, that's the choose your enemies wisely. Netflix didn't even know that they were choosing this guy. It's the worst, and they're gonna feel it. And the fact that they're pretending. All these companies pretend like, no, we don't. It's just whatever. It's not like Mother, that show, one of the what was it, Paranormal, whatever. It's not even out anymore. But then he was pissed off too. He even called out Transformers. There's a clip of Transformers pushing this trans stuff on the kids. And you know what it is? I'm just happy that parents, they're seeing it, they're not buying it. And it's like simple. Stop sexualizing the children. Stop pushing this garbage as if they didn't learn their lesson. Like Bud Light wasn't an example. Disney wasn't an example.
Last night was a great night. The Yankees beat the Red Sox, okay? Notice one person not clapping.
I can't even pause it. I have too much lag. That should tell you how bad this is. I have a barcode up at the top. It connects to my link tree. So if anybody misses it or needs to or would like to either subscribe to X, to the channel, to the Instagram, or donate, and it will go strictly to having a new computer, new equipment, and paying for, like, say, StreamYard and whatnot would be greatly appreciated. You can just use your phone and click it, and it will take you right there.
None other than Tom Ellsworth. So here's what we want to do with you. Here's what, look at that. Look at the hater look.
Look at that look.
Zoom in on his face. By the way, I want people, can you zoom in on his face, Jake? Zoom in on his face and tell me, everybody in the group text last night was texting back except for one guy. And the one guy who didn't respond back was this guy. He says he doesn't have hate towards the Yankees. I believe he does. Having said that, the pitcher of the Yankees yesterday pitched a
lights out
12 strike. You know, he hasn't pitched a 12 strikeout, not in the minor leagues. This is the first time he does it. Lights out, great stuff. But here's what we like to see.
Schlittler.
For some of you guys that are Dodger fans, you're from LA and you're on Tom's side.
Are any of you baseball fans out there? Are you enjoying this part of the conversation?
Look at the timing of it. Boom! What a sick hat that is. By the way, whether you're a Dodgers fan or not, that is legit one of the sickest blue-colored Future Looks Bright hat we have. But if you're a Yankees fan, folks, we also got the Yankees hat. The navy blue Future Looks Bright hat. So here's a contest we're going to be playing.
A true entrepreneur and businessman. Be quiet, Patrick Beth David, just for a moment. No more hats at the moment, please. Anyways, let's check out. Also, now that we're talking about boycotting, we're talking about Trump, we're talking about money, which let's watch now what Trump is doing in Austin, Texas. Let's cue that up. And then also an addendum to that, people don't really understand just how much Disney company has acquired as far as movie studios and everything goes, including networks, television, cable, the whole 9 yards. When I was going through orientation then, it was like Lighthouse and Touchstone and like everything that you would have accused Gates back in the day for, you know, monopolizing is exactly what is going on. And how the hell they're getting away with it without greasing everybody's pockets? Well, I guess that's the answer. But that's my opinion. Don't take it too seriously. Hold on, this is not getting off of there. Okay, come on. There we go. Now you're watching my lag in real time.
UT Austin may have to agree to a new set of rules on gender, tuition, and admissions in order to get federal funding. It's part of a compact the Trump administration has asked 9 universities to sign. KVU's Isabella Basco explores what that could mean for academic freedom in Texas.
Sarcastic.
With the Trump administration asking 9 universities to sign a compact in exchange for federal money, it's what one UT Austin professor calls a new strategy.
So did I, Ronan. I went all the time. Great way to keep the weight off.
I'd say it's relatively unprecedented to see something like this come down.
Thank you, Ronan. I appreciate that.
And I think, you know, it definitely has people in higher education circles all across.
Let me offer also my apologies to you, Ronan. I'm sorry for not getting back to you. People ended up getting, I have people, somebody in my family got hurt, and I ended up having to deal with doctors, and there's all kinds of stuff that is going on right now. And I'm just having a heck of a time keeping up with everything, to be quite honest with you. But as soon as I get moved, which will be towards the end of October and early November, things will start settling down, and I will bring my big old Cuban butt over there, and I will hang out with you, okay? Just give me a little bit of time.
The country talking about what it means.
KVU News got a hold of the compact. The document asks universities to stick to strict gender roles and asks that no more than 15% of a university's undergrad population participate in the student visa exchange program. It also bans factors like race, nationality, and political views from being considered in admissions. UT Austin education professor David DeMatthews expects faculty across the country to have concerns.
Just seeing the federal government, take aim at a variety of topics and issues that are typically controlled at a local level in universities.
KVUE News reached out to UT to ask if the university will sign the agreement. We received a statement from the UT system, which says in part, "We welcome the new opportunity presented to us, and we look forward to working with the Trump administration on it." But we talked to students who feel differently.
I really hope to see UT stand up for itself and hope to not implement those standards.
I think in these times we have to support each other where and when we can. And it would be nice if the university could set that example. But, I just don't think if they decide to do this, I don't think they would be doing that.
For DeMatthews, he believes the best action universities can take.
Sarcastic, saying her butt has to be Cuban to be big. Well, that's just goes hand in hand. That's what they usually say.
Is to generate more discussion and dialogue.
So I think it's a great opportunity for universities.
Okay. First of all these universities back in the day had to start pushing all of the woke crap that they've been indoctrinating our kids with for years in order to get the funding back then. So now that the administration is turning a little more normal, right? You're going to have to start playing ball. This is a school. This is not a political machine. Go to school, learn your gig, get the hell out.
Across the country for university leaders and politicians to openly discuss what this is, what it means, and why they should or should not move forward with it.
And the Board of Regents chairman also says they are honored their flagship was selected by the Trump administration for more possible federal funding. And they, quote, look forward to engaging with university officials and reviewing the compact immediately. Now, the other 8 schools included in President Trump's request are a mix of public and private. There's Vanderbilt, USC, Dartmouth, Penn, Brown, MIT, Virginia, and Arizona. Now, the Texas Faculty Association sent a statement calling the compact another attack by President Trump on academic freedom.
Yay, because that's what we need. It's about learning the trade, the skill that you need to learn. Not learn about, indoctrination of children and sex and this and that. None of that stuff has any place in there. It's just to go there to learn what you need to learn and get the hell out. So I say God bless America for that move. That's the beginning of the turning point, because they know that if they can get to the children, that will turn the country. In the meantime, now that my browser is giving me this is more problems. My goodness. Hold on one second. That one. La da 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 da. Hold on, it just went somewhere. There we go. All right. So on this one, Elon Musk, I'm going to cover a little bit more of that. Share a screen on here just to reach this. Elon calls for, going back to that, let's see, it says, this came up on my feed earlier. Elon Musk calls for the Netflix boycott over the transgender character in kids' show. This one is showing that he's urging his 22 million X followers to cancel the subscription starting October 1st, criticizing the animated series Strawberry Shortcake. Now, I'm offended. Hello? I used to love Strawberry Shortcake, and you're destroying my flippin' Strawberry Shortcake. Bury the Pink City for featuring a transberry character embracing their identity. It's coming in everything. We're going to just have to turn the damn TVs off, period. The campaign, amplified by conservative influencers, led to hashtag cancel Netflix trending and Netflix sharing declining about 5% over the week, erasing roughly $17 billion to $20 billion in market value. Though analysis attribute part of the drop to broader market factors, Netflix has not responded to the controversy as of October 4th, 2025. They're still not saying a damn thing. Isn't that sweet of them? Elon, on this one, he's This is what he's talking about. Let's check this out. This is a short one.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that.
I have vowed to destroy it. What was that, Elon?
Join the club. We're making some progress. Join the club.
Join the club. Him and Peterson, they have vowed to destroy the woke mind virus. Buying X was saving free speech, and soon Grokpedia. Now, bravo. Grokpedia will be making sure people get factual, unbiased information, and that's what the news is supposed to be about. Just like your schools. Factual, unbiased information. That's how America was moving around. And now we're getting shoved to either one side or the other. Well, we all know the side I'm going to be on. Anyways, let's take a look of something that might be useful to all of you. I have not actually watched this whole thing, so we're going to watch it together. Facts Matter with Roman. And he's talking about how to get your Amazon Prime refund after historic $2.5 billion settlement. So if you have your Prime membership and you feel you've been taken advantage of, you might want to take a little look-see at this, because we know that is really expensive every single year. Let's find out what's going on.
Largest settlements in American history. On Thursday, September the 25th, Amazon settled their case with the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, for a staggering $2.5 billion. And it's worth mentioning that over half of that money is actually earmarked for you, the customers, meaning that if you are an Amazon Prime member, you can be getting a piece of that settlement. Let me briefly give you the history of the case, as well as how you can tell whether or not you actually qualify for this money. Now, the case itself.
Welcome in, Gripped D. Okay, that's a very clever name.
It originated from
David
2021
nice
at
to
the
see
tail
you.
end of Trump's first term in office. That was when the FTC began investigating some of the practices that Amazon was implementing in their Amazon Prime program. Specifically, at that time, you had the former chairwoman of the FTC, Ms. Lina Khan. She accused Amazon of, quote, using manipulative web designs to enroll tens of millions of users in Prime without clear consent and making...
Look at that. Look at that face. Does she look like a nice person? Does she look like a sweetheart? Why, she looks extremely angry, and she looks like she missed her witch's hat and broom.
Cancellation intentionally difficult. The FTC claimed that Amazon used deceptive user interface designs, known as dark patterns, to trick consumers into automatically enrolling and renewing Prime subscriptions. And you might have experienced something like this yourself at some point in time. I know I have. You're trying to buy something on Amazon, and as you're going through the actual checkout process, the system asks you whether you want free shipping on the item. You, of course, do, and within just a few clicks, you don't even realize it, but suddenly you're a member of Amazon Prime. Here's, in fact, how the complaint from the FTC broke down what was happening. Quote, in some cases, the lawsuit contends, the button presented to consumers to complete their transaction did not clearly state that by choosing that option, they were also agreeing to join Prime for a recurring subscription. And then, of course, on the other side, when you went to actually go cancel the membership later, after you found the charge on your credit card statement, it was basically a labyrinth process. According to the case that the government brought forth against them, quote, internal Amazon documents referenced by the FTC described the process as Iliad, likening it to the lengthy siege in the Greek epic, and noted employees referred to subscription tactics as a bit of a shady world and an unspoken cancer. Consumers who attempted to cancel Prime were faced with multiple steps to actually accomplish the task of canceling.
I remember
Consumers
that.
had to first locate the cancellation flow, and once there, they were redirected to multiple pages that presented several offers to continue the subscription at a discounted price, to simply turn off the auto-renew feature, or to decide not to cancel. Only after clicking through these pages could consumers finally cancel the service. And personally, I have gone through the process once of canceling.
You know, I do remember that was buried like that. I've noticed that a lot of the app things and stuff like that is very buried, and they do that on purpose because it keeps the money in their pocket longer. It makes it more difficult for you to find it, which means they're stalling. It's a stall tactic before you can get your money back or to cancel. You know, I've had a lot of clients do that too. work off of my own capital for their own benefit. Oh my gosh. Invoices not paid for 120 days. Holy crap, boy. Now, those were the days.
Canceling Amazon Prime. And in this description, they're making it seem harder than it was. I mean, it is a few pages, but you just click no, no, no. Do you want to cancel? Yes. So, I mean, it's not that hard. Regardless, the FTC also mentioned that the highest level executives were aware of the problem, but that, quote, company executives failed to alleviate the complicated tech issues until the FTC began its investigation. In addition, the FTC claims that Amazon tried to procrastinate in cooperating with this probe. And so this investigation, it culminated in a lawsuit that was filed by the FTC against Amazon 2 years ago. And just earlier this month, it was settled by the lawyers for $2.5 billion. As a part of that settlement, Amazon did not admit to any wrongdoing, but here's how that $2.5 billion broke down. Amazon will pay a cool $1 billion in civil penalties, which, by the way, is the largest in FTC history. Wow. And also $1.5 billion will be given back to customers in the form of refunds. Now, eligible customers, the ones who actually qualify, are as follows. Quote, anyone who signed up for Amazon Prime or unsuccessfully attempted to cancel their Prime subscription in the United States between June 23rd of 2019 and June 23rd of 2025 is eligible for a share of the settlement.
Well, there we go.
Meaning that if you signed up for Amazon Prime within the past 6 years and or you tried to cancel your Prime membership within the past 6 years, you qualify for this refund. Now, in terms of getting your money and filing your claim, for some people, the money will just automatically be sent to their account. Here's who qualifies for the automatic payments that are about to go out. Quote, customers who used no more than 3 Prime benefits within a year of enrollment and signed up for Amazon Prime through a quote-unquote challenge enrollment flow will receive an automated refund from Amazon. And by challenged enrollment flow, the FTC actually broke down what that meant. And it means anybody who enrolled into Amazon Prime services through the Universal Prime page, through the shipping options select page, through Prime Video, and or through Amazon's single page checkout, which seems like to cover all the possible options. So pretty much anyone who signed up to Amazon Prime, as long as they didn't use...
Oh, it looks like I'm getting a refund. Are you getting a refund? How long have you been getting this How long have you guys been in the subscription? I think I've had it for 4 years now. Yeah, I think about 4 years.
At least 3 Prime benefits within the first year, they qualify for these automatic payments, which in theory should be hitting their accounts within the next 90 days. However, for the other group of people, the people who don't automatically qualify, including those who tried to cancel their Prime membership in the past 6 years, but for some reason were not able to, there's actually going to be a separate webpage for them so that they can process their claims separately. Although I will mention right now that page is not yet public. When it does go public, I'll actually update the description box below this video with the link to that page. Right on. So you can either check back on this video within the next week or two, or I'm sure you can just Google it yourself. I'm sure it'll be up, and then you can find out the actual process to make your claim. However, if you think you're going to be retiring on the money you receive, you're probably not going to be retiring. Here is the maximum that each customer...
The other sexy mama. Hello, mamacita. The best ass on the internet right there. She got the best booty, boys. She sure does. Go take a look at her at The Raging Tomato. Are you going live right now, mamacita, or no? Teddy's monkey. Yes, yes, and boobla. I've been called everything. But she got the booty, honey. She got the booties. Are you going live? Oh, she's off tonight. Very nice. Very nice. She gets the night off. Well, I hope you enjoy it. And are you grinding it out tomorrow? Do you want to come up here with me? Sarah, do you want to come up? Or are you good right now? I have lag. Yes, I do. It's really bad. I'm sorry. Anyways, when the rest of this, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday night. Okay. Well, if you want to come up here, let me know, and I will send you. I'll send you the link. Okay. Right now, I think I'm going to click this one off as soon as they announce when this is going to start happening, and then where you can sign up at. If you have to sign up for it, I'll also start providing that too, because I want people to get their money back. She's in pajamas and about to make chips and chili. Oh, that sounds good. I hope you're relaxing and you're enjoying time with your kids. And I'll be packing all weekend. Yay, me with my bum arm right now. Anyways, now let's go take a look. Where did my browser go? Oh, kill. Oh my goodness. All right. All right, here it is. Okay. I found it. It's the lag. I'm sorry. It's just hard to move the stuff around. Here we go for the fun part of the evening and the spooky time. Let's go and enjoy the story of the Gurdon Light. Come on, thing. Present. There we go. Take your time or anything. I love Sarah. You know, Sarah, I had an idea, and I'm not going to say the name of the idea, just in case I still go through with it. I was going to do that. I was going to open up another company with sexy hunks, just like you're talking about, who have to wear like mesh shirts and booty shorts, tight ones, come over and pack your house up, or better yet, come clean your house. All men, just men for a cleaning service. Wouldn't that be a cool idea? Oh, hell yeah, it would be. Let me turn off this music, my music.
Legends and lore hold a special place for many small Arkansas communities. Towns like Newport have spent decades celebrating things like the White River Monster. And other towns, places like Pine Bluff, had to take extreme actions to put the Sawdust Bridge and its ghosts behind them. But sometimes a story can grow bigger even than the town itself.
Yes, it can.
This is never more true than with Gurdon, Arkansas.
I saw that back in 1997. The light be on one side, then turn around, the light's on the other side. It's like a glowing white light, like a lantern.
My mother often said that it was swamp gas, what it would have to be. Every excuse that they could come up with, every rationale they could come up with, there was some real problems with that.
I haven't ever seen it, but they said it's kind of like an orange yellow ball of fire that floats across the tracks at night. That's why it's the Gurdon Light, because he goes around at night.
Sarah said, I'd be happy with the dad bod cleaning my house. Well, I mean, they don't have to be 100% perfect or anything, just something that looks good and is eye-catching. I figured it would be a good way to make money, you know, something fun.
You're trying to find his kid.
Well, anything's possible. I believe it's...
Yeah. Do you like my scary music?
There's something weird about it. There really is. That's why it's still such a phenomenon today.
I believe in a lot of things. Sometimes you see stuff that happens and you really have no explanation for it.
We're out here in the Ouachita Mountains, just northwest of Gurdon. We're in search of the Gurdon Light. Everybody you talk to seems to have a story of a family member or their friends or their own personal experiences where they've seen this light. You know, as far as I know, I have no reason to disbelieve this. In fact, I'm really hopeful that the Gurdon Light is.
Yes, but it would be a legitimate LLC, okay? It would be legitimate.
Something that I should believe in. As far as what causes it, where it comes from, whether it's the spirit of a man named Mr. McLean who was murdered by one of his workers, or whether it has a more scientific explanation.
That's right.
That's
just
not as important as
your
like
house.
The,
I'm not
the
doing it,
so
so maybe in the future, who
seeing
knows?
The Gurdon Light. We might start calling for Mr. McLean, which was the recommendation from the ladies at the barbecue restaurant.
Hey, Willie! There was a railroad foreman killed, and he was killed out on the tracks, which is true. And
no, Grip, I have not
that
heard
light
of the Prophecy Club.
Light his lantern looking for his head.
In 1930, these
It's almost like the legend of Sleepy Hollow. Another guy looking for his head.
two conspirators, when they got through their work and left, they run through the switch and derailed and made a mess. Foreman suspected that they were involved in the sabotage, so that one of them followed him down the track.
It's an actual crime that occurred December 4th in 1931. Railroad foreman Will McLean was killed by an underling McBride was that man's last name. McBride beat
Poor guy.
Mr. McLean over the head with a spike maul till he was dead. And when they found McLean, he was still clutching his lantern. And the light started showing up shortly after that on the railroad tracks.
That's a pretty gruesome way to go, man. That's pretty gruesome. And now the light shows up after he passed. Okay. Do you guys believe in this type of stuff? Do you think it's legit? Let me know in the comments below.
They say always print the legend instead of the truth, you know. Supposedly that's what the light is the foreman looking for his head out there with his lantern.
Thank you, Sarah. See you too, Mamacita. You have a good evening with your kids and enjoy the couch. I'm going to be joining it shortly after the stream. After I do dishes, of course.
I think that every human being at some point in their life, you know, kind of questions, are there things I can't understand that I can explain? But we all at some point, you know, go looking for something like that. I like the ghost story aspect of this, you know, because everybody that we talk to seem to think that it's a spirit, but there are also some other theories that we have because...
Do you think it's a spirit? Do you believe in ghosts? Some people would say if it's not a spirit, it's just a demonic spirit impersonating people. Did you know that? Some people do say that.
Here in Arkansas, we have some of the largest quartz deposits in the entire world. And there's an interesting principle called piezoelectricity. So when anything that with a crystalline structure, when it's placed under pressure and it flexes, that crystal lattice will actually generate a high voltage electricity.
Oh, that's interesting.
We actually have a major fault line that runs through Arkansas known as the New Madrid Fault. And right here, we are in Clark County, right on the edge of the fault line. This red dot here is a swarm of earthquakes that have been registered by the United States Geological Survey. So as the plates rub against each other, these quartz crystals start generating huge amounts of electricity. And I believe that this electricity could actually ionize the air above the fault line, generating these lights.
I did not know that quartz under pressure did that. That's pretty cool.
I think anytime that you've got an air of mystery about you right here, that this happened or then this is part of it, you can't explain it, you know, and everything. There's not a lot in Gurdon. So, you know, whatever you can do, you do.
I started talking to Mark Carnes with the Ross Foundation about 2 years ago about the possibility of a Gurdon Light Trail. And we're going to have a groundbreaking today for the parking area of the actual Gurdon Light Trail.
Wow.
We're going to create signage, and the Gurdon schools, the FFA and the Gurdon East Lab, we're going to all get together and create signs and maybe make little mile markers.
Okay, this is now turning into a tourist attraction. Now, have any of you been to Arkansas and seen this? Let me know in the comments below.
Along the way, and benches at the most popular viewing areas, as well as the actual historic account of the Gurdon Light at the trailhead parking area. I think it's something that people enjoy and always remember. I think that it's rural adds to the allure, maybe the mystique, and even the romance of the Gurdon Light.
Hey, Willie.
Ooh, baby, you gonna encounter that thing?
We spent the better part of the night out here on the train tracks, hiking through waist-deep weeds and calling the name of William McLean like the locals urged us to do. And unfortunately, we haven't seen any sign of the Gurdon Light.
Well, that's disappointing. Watch, all the people with like the Ojenga boards are going to show up and let it summon the light guy.
Really ingrained in the culture of that community, and people will actually attach, you know, maybe some of their identity to some of those stories because it's a common thing that everybody in that town can share, kind of like a rite of passage for the people that live around here. And
Adam,
that
nice
sort
to
of thing
see you
is
again,
really
honey.
important to keep people together, especially when you're in a town like Gurdon, similar to the town I grew up in. You're kind of disconnected from the rest of the world. Everybody knows it, whether or not they grow up and stop believing in that story because they never have an encounter with it, or whether or not they believe it for their whole life. It's still something you can kind of talk to your kids about to scare them at night. Those stories are just part of the human experience, I think, like a continuation of that story that we're all.
And keep the kids out of the forest at night. Paul P. Fletch says, sorry, Ouija boards are boring. Oh my goodness. Why? Have you used one? Tell us, P. Fletch. Rip D says, of course the light isn't going to hang around that bozo. I agree with you because he knows he's looking for him with a camera. Like, I'm not going to show up now. Has anybody heard of the Winchester house that's in San Jose? Or there's another one in San Diego. I'm actually thinking about presenting that one too. I've been to the one in San Diego. I didn't get to go to the Winchester house though, the Winchester mansion.
Trying to tell about each other.
Much like Dexter Harding's Sawdust Bridge, the murder of Will McLean could have been a dark spot on the history of Gurdon, Arkansas. But the crime and the ghost story that's arisen from it has been taken in and celebrated by the community. The Gurdon Light is a prime example of the power of native myth and storytelling in the natural state.
Now, the other one is the Whaley House, and that one's the one in San Diego. And the last time I was there, you could see an orb floating around. And that place is highly noted. It's very scary at night. Most of the people who run those tours won't stick around after dusk or as dusk approaches. And one of these days, after I get moved and settled, I'll pull out the pictures that I took. And in the pictures, you could even see orbs floating around. And I'm going to leave those stories right there. And I don't know if I want to talk anymore about that one. But let's just say there was some weird stuff going on when I went into that house. All right, so now let's take a look at Dave Mustain's Chilling Witchcraft Stories and Confession with Hexes. Don't try this at home, kids. Sorry, it's going to take me a second because of the lag.
What I did and go down that route.
I don't know much about witchcraft.
What you don't want to. When you open up the doors to the dark, they're not going to wait to be invited in. They're coming. I'll be damned if he didn't come back.
Are you serious?
He came back. The Dark Prince to help me put a hex on somebody. That really fucked my life up. And it took years for us to get out of it because somebody had said that.
You know who else refers to him as the Dark Prince and the head honcho and the big guy, but calls him the Dark Prince? Bob Dylan.
That there was a lot of weird stuff going on in that room at the time. Like chairs were moving around, a lot of stuff like that. We have a song we wrote about some young girl named Mary Jane Tolliver who was a witch, and her dad found out, and he buried her alive.
Oh my God. Okay, we're going to find about this being buried alive thing right after I read Adam's message. Not sure. I believe in the supernatural or heaven. Well, but it's Halloween, so we're going to have fun with it. Either way. And I'm a big haunted house type person, so.
How did she get into witchcraft?
People, you have no idea.
Oh, Michelle. Yeah, so she got into this thing with Stan.
Oh,
she
Larry.
Stan.
Hi, Larry.
Stan
I'm sorry I missed
was, like I said, he was a really,
you.
really terrific guy. He was a really awesome guy. Good looking and rode a Harley. I mean, first thing in the morning, the whole fucking neighborhood vibrated and
Blood Logos said all of those Hollywood and music industry weirdos are Satanists. And guess what? So are your politicians. My opinion. Can't really prove it, but Hollywood and politics go hand in hand. One hand washes the other.
And who wouldn't want to be married to a cop like that? So, and his tour that he had to do every day was Pacific Coast Highway in Huntington Beach. That doesn't suck.
Oh, I know where that is.
So, anyways, he left her, and she was heartbroken, and she went crazy, and she started pursuing alternate means because God had not worked for her. the God of the witnesses that she'd been praying for her husband to come back. Didn't work for her. And she, I had ran away from home and I moved up to Idaho, and I was living with her and her kids in a trailer, which was awful, just fucking awful. And she went to work one day and
let's read Uncle Guns. Uncle Guns is in the house, the best mod on YouTube. I was his second up and coming, but life had a turn and I couldn't mod for everybody anymore. Maybe those things will change in the future. I'll get back to some of it. He says, yawn. I spent the better part of 30 years participating in rituals in the hopes I'd conjure spirits and demons and saw nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's all campfire stories and superstition. I've seen some stuff. I didn't conjure nothing. We'll talk about that behind the scenes one day.
I started playing hooky from school because my nephew had told people at the school I was a martial artist guy. And the first day I got there, I got cold cocked. And I figured I'm not going to the school because I'm not going to deal with this every day. So I started playing hooky. I figured I would run away back to home. But one day I went back into where her bedroom was, and there was a candle that was on her desk that had melted, and it had some substance in the top of it. It looked like moss.
Was it a black
and
candle?
there was a
What
picture
kind of
that was
Kinda curious.
burnt in half, and it was a hex to have him leave the girl he left my sister for, who was a big blonde bombshell from a bar, and to come back to my sister, who was not a big bombshell blonde.
Okay.
And I'll be damned if he didn't come back.
Are you serious?
He came back. He came back. So I figured, wow, this has got to work. And I saw the book.
You know, that worked and made him come back, huh? Well, you know, in my dad's church, if he prayed and your wife came back and said, hey, George, my husband left me and the kids stranded. We need to pray and bring him back home. Well, you know what? They'd come back home too after you got done praying. Trust me, it works.
It was just a little piece of paper. It was like, you know, you fold it in half and that's a page. And it was like a 20-page booklet or something like that. And it had a couple hexes in there, and I tried 2 of them and they both worked too. So at that point, I had to tell my wife what I had done, and we started on the journey of trying to get the oppression, the demonic oppression that had happened to me by opening up my defenses and asking for, you know, the Dark Prince to help me put a hex on somebody. That really fucked my life up, and it took years for us to get out of it because we were going to like San Francisco, up to Filipino priests that would lay hands on you, and I had some Indian Rajas that would do cupping and acupuncture and crazy stuff like that.
What were your hexes?
Well, one was something that had to do with the guy that actually punched me at school. What happened was we went to school that day. Excuse me. We went to school that day, and the guy walked up to me and just slugged me. And he said he was going to see me after school. Now, we rode a normal school bus to one
I had that happen at school once. That's how I got my nose broke the first time.
point, and then the bus stopped.
Only I hit back.
And all the kids got out for a smaller bus that would take us out into the rural area. And so we stop, we get out, and everybody circles around the 2 of us like we're going to fight right there. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is going down. So everything I'd learned up to that point, you know, was going through my mind. And the second bus shows up, and we get in the bus and we take off. And he's coming up to his house, and he walks through the walkway in the bus and elbows me in the back of the head as he's getting out. And I was trying to fit in, so I had a mouthful of Red Man, and I was trying to get into the whole chewing tobacco thing because that's what everybody else was.
Hold on. Larry, 5200. I've been walking abandoned railroads the past year or so. Okay, Larry, where are you walking these railroads? Inquiring minds want to know. They are some of the creepiest places I've ever been. There are some ghost stories associated with some of them. Really? Would you mind sharing the names in the chat below? And I will look some of them up too. That's pretty cool. Okay, Larry, why are you doing this? Are you like a ghost hunter? What are you doing? Welcome in Bare Minimum. Oh, that's an ugly broad? Oh, okay, cool. You mean Dave? I hope you're talking about Dave and not me. That long hair, right? Nuxus is, what does he say? Stupid, fake, fast internet. Haha, all lies. It is slow as just better than dial up. Yeah, well. Let's see what else is Bare Minimum saying. Boo-hoo, meh, I have trauma. Dang it. All right.
And when he hit me, I went,
let's investigate. I agree.
And I swallowed that shit. So I went back to my sister's trailer and I got really, really sick. And I figured, that's it. I'm going to do something about this. So I looked through the book and I found something that would.
All us 90s and 80s kids, we're all Ghostbusters, don't you know that?
Do what I wanted. And I did that, Hex. And then there was another one.
What did you want to happen?
Well, I really don't want to get into it because I don't want anybody to be misled and try and figure out what I did and go down that route because it was a terrible deviation from what was good and right in the world for me. Of course, that power's out there, without black, there's no white. But it was just for me, after that happened, I realized that I really don't want to talk about this. Really don't want to get anybody interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll talk about it to the degree that I'm comfortable with, where I know that nobody can be misled from it.
And then you did another one?
I did a second one, and that one was it was something when I had moved back to California already. And there was somebody that I wanted, and I was just, I was an ugly, redheaded, freckle-faced kid with short hair and sweat rings, and I didn't have any chance of being with this girl, but everybody in school wanted to be with this girl.
Yeah, because she's the most popular girl in school, whatever. P. Fledge says, I've been overnight in just about any type and kind of hallow one would think of. Nothing, just a few instances of bear tracks. Oh, that's kind of disappointing, huh? Were you a kid when you were doing that? Let's see. And then Larry said, where did he go? Polly's Crossing and Archer's Pond. Oh, New Hampshire. Okay. I'm going to look that up. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. So that's a witch. I think he was playing around with it. I don't think he does that stuff anymore. A witch, possibly.
So I figured, what the hell? I say that quite a lot in my life, right? And we were together, and then we weren't.
But it worked again. Wow.
Yeah.
So what is? I mean, I don't know much about witchcraft.
Okay.
Well, you don't want to.
If that works, does a love potion number 9 work too? Did anybody ever see that movie? I just saw that movie again a couple months ago. Love potion number 9. It's still pretty good. Sandra Bullock.
What is the in a snapshot? What is it? Is it?
Well, there is a understanding that there are black witches and white witches. That there are witches that do good. But witchcraft is still witchcraft. It's the use of the elements and there's alchemy, there's wizardry, sorcery, electricity, magic. There's use of blood, use of spit, use of sperm, use of all of these things that are all part of what was created and being used in an unnatural way. So, for me, I when I walked away from practicing any kind of witchcraft, because I didn't practice it. I did it 2 times, and both of them worked. And then I went.
You and I are in great redheaded.
This is bigger than I am.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm
No.
not
Okay. Maybe.
going to mess around with this. And so, wrote the song The Conjuring, and there was another song that was kind of along from that inspiration, from that experience. It was Bad Omen.
Wow. I read that you stopped doing witchcraft around 30. Sounds like it went on for about 15 years.
That ended way before that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. You know, I think about it all the time. Whenever somebody pisses me off, I think, man, no, I won't.
It sure is, Nuxus.
I've actually, when my sister was alive, I called her up a few times and talked to her, and she talked me out of it a few times because I was at the end of my rope, and I knew it worked, so, but didn't do it.
It sounds like you were in some, I think you described it as a satanic depression.
No, oppression.
Yeah, it's oppression. Spittle says ornamental watches actually follow the Christian doctrine, and he's sort of wrong. Larry says, I'm in Oklahoma now. There's a place about 20 minutes from me called Dead Woman's Crossing. There's a pretty famous unsolved mystery from 1905, Weatherford. Oh, baby. Now you're really talking my language. We're going to be checking that one out for sure.
It was like a possession, not depression, like having a spirit on you.
How so?
Well, when you open up the doors to the dark, they're not going to wait to be invited in. They're coming, right? And if I believe in God, then I have to believe in the devil, right? And I believe in God. I believe in Christ. I believe in the devil. I believe they're demons. I believe they're angels. Still don't know what the real estate looks like up in the heavens, but you know, I've got a pretty good understanding of a lot of that stuff, and I don't know the stuff that.
Bare Minimum says, looks like that hair is heavy. Well, you know, at least he still has most of it. Like, it's a little receded, but I mean, he still has most of his hair. Good for him. Them gingers always keep their hair. Well, a lot of them keep their hair.
Happens when you get really drugged out. A lot of times you start to do really unnatural things, you know, because you're on drugs. Well, why wouldn't you? You're not yourself. You either have liquor in you, which is called spirits for a reason, or you're on stuff that's like an opiate, which makes you think everybody's your friend, and you know, or you smoke pot and you're paranoid of everybody, or you take sedatives, which for some people they need them to be able to not wear the people out around them, and other people need stimulants, like children who have been diagnosed with ADD or ADHD, you know. But when somebody starts grinding pharmaceutical speed because they like it, you know, it's kind of what.
Tell us, P. Fletch, what's the best thing about strawberry blondes? Everything. So serious, Spittle, says Bear.
Meth is.
So do you think you were possessed?
Oh, I know it was, because we tried to get my life in order, and stuff just kept happening, and we would go see people who were spiritual in nature, and they would say that they see something. The priest that was in, we went to go see I forgot, I told Darren all this stuff too. We had been talking about what had happened, Pam and I, and I said that I wanted to get rid of this. So we went to this person. Her name was, I think it was Caroline somebody, and her husband.
Let's see. Nuxus says, it will ever get up there. When I click the button, 4G mobile data is faster than my Wi-Fi at 15 megabytes. It's not actually my internet. This is actually my system, because I've had problems. So I'm using an older system till I can get moved and get a new one, provided I can get the money up for the new one. Yes. Lots of power outages over here blew my system up. Legitimately. Legit.
Was a Green Bay Packer football player, so I thought it was legit. And she was a doctor, so she would do these kind of clearing things. And she had this India Indian guy that was a Raja come over. He was like a priest that did laying on hands, cupping, acupuncture. And so he came over and he said, when he was doing the acupuncture on me, he was meditating behind me and he fell over. And he said that there was a man with a silver turban that came out and said, I release him. And that's when he fell over. When we went to San Francisco to go see the Filipino priest, he said that he laid hands on me and the head of a bull came out of my chest, out of my stomach. He said, that's
Holy shit.
Yeah. And I didn't see it. I didn't feel it. I don't know what the fuck happened, but in the spirit world, I don't know if I would see it because I don't know if I have that gifting to see the demons. But he had said the same thing. So there were several people that had nothing in common that knew that there was something going on with me.
It's okay.
And finally it broke.
Don't worry.
And
thank you.
I remember getting baptized at some place in Northridge, California, and somebody, and this is freaky. Somebody had said that there was a lot of weird stuff going on in that room at the time, like chairs were moving around because there was a bunch of people in there that were getting baptized, and there was a lot of tongues being spoken and stuff. I didn't see any of that stuff, so I got to see it myself to believe it. But I that's what I heard was going on in there, and I was thinking, man, that's pretty cool because if this whole God thing's real, and I live my life like there is a God, then I'm not going to regret it.
Wow.
Have you ever seen anything supernatural?
Like a demon?
Anything?
Not in the physical. Visions, yeah, but not in the physical. But you do too. You say you have dreams.
Oh, I've had several occurrences where I've experienced things, not necessarily seen, but
I guess you should have taken some DMT with that, huh? That's the word.
Heard or
feel.
It's called DMT, isn't it? I could be wrong. I'm not the biggest, I don't know that much about some of those, but I think it's called that.
Walk into a room that's really cold all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff like that. We have a song we wrote about some young girl named Mary Jane Twilliger who was a witch, and her dad found out and he buried her alive. And this was in the city right north of where Ellefson lived. And we went out there to go visit that place, and it was creepy. It was really creepy. But that was it. It was just creepy. I didn't hear any owls. The wind didn't blow. I did hear, and this could be another bit of folklore, but somebody pushed her headstone over, and when they went back to their car, they found their car keys on the hood.
Whoa.
It's wild, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's wild. We had I've had a bunch of these experiences. One of them, I was interviewing a friend of mine, priest, his father, Dan Rehill. He's an exorcist. And I remember when he came in here, he was like, look, he's like,
I'm getting a message.
Weird shit happens when I start talking about this stuff. He's like, the cameras might go out, who knows what. And he was talking about exorcisms. And then he brought up Christ, and the AC unit right there just went on full blast, immediately. It just started whooshing. I mean, I've had a bunch of these experiences, but
that's awesome.
It's made me realize how real the spiritual realm is.
It's real.
And just to move on a little further, I mean, at some point after you found Christ again, you quit singing, you quit performing certain songs. What songs were those? No matter where you're watching Sean Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And
are you liking the content so far? I'm going to be, for the rest of the month, I'm going to be mixing commentary with all the Halloween fun stuff and conspiracy theories. I just got a link from my buddy Self, 32.4K likes on Candace Owens exposes how Bibi Netanyahu is openly meeting American influencers to launch influence campaigns aimed at swaying U.S. opinions on Israel. Should I click that one? Does anybody want to see that one? And then we'll end on that. Would you like to see it? Or do you want to see another eerie one? Would you like the Candace or another eerie tale? Because I have one right here. It's up to you guys in the chat. You get the pick. The Candace Owens, or it is called, hold on, where did it go? P. Fletch, where did that go? I had it saved last night when you gave it to me. It's like freaking gone, dude. Oh my gosh, it's like gone. Where the heck did it go? I saved it. I know that I did. Occult origins. Yeah, the grift, right? Where the heck did that go? Well, you know what? We'll just I'm gonna pull this other thing up on Greta. No, wait, how about Greta? No, let's not do Greta. How about this one? Seems how we're talking about the occult and everything. Let's end on this one right here. Hold on, let me bring the presentation up. Unfortunately, this is a newsreel. This is about our sister country, Canada. Poor Canada. We love our Canadian brothers and sisters. However, there's some weird stuff going on. I'm not gonna lie, a little strange. Hold on, this thing is like so slow. Here we go.
You know, what's interesting about you, Sean, is that you understand the political arena because you were involved in it in California.
Yeah.
And so it's just interesting to me that you have that perspective. And of course, now you're leading these worship services across America. Recently went to Canada. I want to say we love all our Canadian viewers. There's
I can't find the stinking link. You know, I pulled it into the
Christians
folder.
in Canada. And so many of you support Daystar, and we love you. However, it was
your government, not so much.
Your government is kind of interesting. So tell us about your experience. How many permits did you have to go in and hold these peaceful worship services for people just to get into the presence of God?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, we're not looking for controversy. I mean, I've been to Canada. I've done worship in Canada.
You were right in the middle of the whole
20 years.
controversy.
Boy, his hair is very parted hard on the side,
I've
isn't
been
it?
doing worship in there for 20 years. Right. I've, we've done Let Us Worship there for 3 years in a row. So, leading up to the Canada trip, me and my wife were like, we should, we both felt like we should fast and pray for this trip. I was like, we don't need to fast. This is Canada. It's going to be awesome and easy. Well, we encountered resistance like I have not felt since 2020.
Wow.
And
tell us about the first.
Fletch, can you do that to
happened
me
just
in Discord?
think,
Because I can't
going on?
copy paste those.
Well, we had planned this from coast to coast. So on their coat of arms, it says from sea
Thank
to
you.
sea,
Appreciate
God
it.
will have dominion. It's very strong, right? In their nation. So we wanted to start on the East Coast in Halifax and go all the way to the West Coast. 11 cities along the way. We had all the permits.
So you
set.
had
We all the
11
logistics.
permits.
11 permits, 10 different provinces. We had a message. The Lord had given me, these doors.
The hair is a bit much. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit much.
In Halifax, kicked off this massive campaign, call it Christophobia, anti-Christian bias, to shut down every single one of our events, except for 2. There was only 2 cities that held fast and let us continue with our permit. But even those cities, the security we had to get, the logistics, the amount of energy and money we had to put, it was crazy.
So where did you, so when you went to that first one, what happened? And were you just not able to?
Thank you, P. Fletch.
I mean, all of it was for health and safety reasons.
Okay, stay tuned. Right after this, we're going to watch the Loveland Frogmen, and then we will end.
We're going to cancel this. They, of course, now they're going to have to prove in court why and where that came from, because it's all fake. They are doing pride marches, parades. They're doing drag queen story hour. They're doing all this stuff in these public places. But the moment Christians
Only
want to
1
come
minute left,
peacefully
Bear.
worship
Just
and
1
pray, they
minute.
shut it down. And God, I believe, was exposing that's so rampant in that country right now.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, he decided to use us, and it caused a lot.
Well, it's a warning to America. There is an Antichrist spirit that hates Jesus and hates the worship of
And
Jesus.
it would like to come into our government. It's tried to come into our government, right?
Oh, we've experienced it in our government.
And that's what's so important. That Christians, we need to get where we start getting into government. We need, like, the judge
Or
that
infiltrating
let this
them,
guy go
possibly.
who killed this girl. Like, we need Christian judges.
Yeah.
We need Christian lawyers.
Yeah.
We need Christian politicians. I mean, our founders, that's what they thought was going to happen.
Before you leave, be sure to hit that like and subscribe
Be
button.
sure not to hit the like button right now. Thank you. Maybe later. Okay. Let's get ready for the Loveland Frogmen. And I'm queuing it up right
Whimsical denizens.
Hold on. Even though I hit stop, it still kept playing because my browser lagged. There we go.
In the blotches of forest that dot Loveland, Ohio, and residing near its Little Miami River are said to be quite peculiar and even whimsical denizens. Small humanoids that resemble amphibians, and according to legend, may even
Little
be
creatures
masters
walking about.
of magic. Welcome to Cryptid Corner, the series all things cryptids, and today we are going to look into the Loveland Frogmen. The Loveland Frogmen are frog-like creatures that are said to reside in Loveland, Ohio, usually in close proximity to the Little Miami River, which flows into the Ohio River. These fellas possess the ability of bipedal movement and stand around 3 to 4 feet tall and weigh about 50 to 70 pounds. The frogmen, also referred to as lizardmen in initial cases, are said to closely resemble frogs with webbed hands and feet and round eyes. But they are also said to possess reptilian features such as rougher skin, sometimes little spikes, and even the report of a tail. Although froglets do exist, so, that could explain the latter. Your reminder that froglets exist.
If this was Alex Jones, it would be, they're turning the frogs gay.
Awkward little guys.
Yes.
But unlike
Look at
many
that weird
cryptids
tail.
I have covered, the Loveland Frogmen have said to possess wands that fire sparks. You heard that right. A bunch of frog dudes that cast magic spells. How can you not?
Magic spells?
Due to these feats of magic, they are generally thought more of as supernatural entities or just outright hoaxes more than legitimate cryptids. But I think that you people are jealous that you can't be a spell-casting frog that lives in Ohio and
Or an imp type thing. Maybe like an imp type thing.
doesn't pay taxes. The frogmen have been quite an influential cryptid, being referenced in media and even beyond Ohio, and in 2023 was even made the mascot of Loveland, Ohio. The Loveland loves the Loveland Frogmen. How do you not? Also, the Frogman kind of reminds me of Frog and Toad. The first sighting of the Frogmen goes all the way back to May of 1955, which is coincidentally the same year that Kermit the Frog debuted. Pretty damn interesting coincidence, eh?
That's kind of cool.
Around 3:30 at night, businessman Robert Honeycutt would be traveling down his road leaving his neighborhood by the Little Miami River. When off to the side, he would spot something truly weird. A gathering of 3 small bipedal creatures that had webbed hands
That's frog abuse, sir. Frog abuse. That's not okay.
and feet,
I have
gray
2
leathery
frogs.
skin,
I like
and
my
frog-like
frogs.
heads with wrinkles where a person's hair would usually
I caught them wild and I
The
stuck
band
them
would
in a-
slowly
in a tank.
approach,
They're
with
still alive.
him and the frogmen just kind of
Year and a
looking
half
at each
later.
other for around 3 minutes, until one of the frogmen would pull out a wand, hold it over his head, and would cast a spell that would spew out sparks, causing Robert to nope the fuck out of there.
What?
The next major frogman encounter
Sparks?
would occur on March 3rd of 1972, when Officer Shockey would be driving down Riverside Road near the local boot factory
cut that
in the
out.
late hours of the
No
night.
one wants to hear you eat
The officer
feet.
was driving slowly due to icy conditions, and suddenly what first appeared to be a dog would come into sight of his view. But the closer he got, the less of a dog that this creature appeared to be. the creature would suddenly dash towards Shocky's car, causing him to slam on the brakes,
Okay.
revealing a large bipedal frog crouching before the vehicle's headlights. The frogman then stood up and made its way over to a guardrail, hurtling over it and jumping off into the Little Miami. Shockey would return to the police station, most likely thinking that no one else would believe him what he saw. Although, when he returned to the scene of the sighting, there appeared to be scratch marks on the guardrail that an officer that accompanied him backed up.
Spittle says they are toting the wild ride, Disney. Yes, they are.
2 weeks after this encounter, Officer Matthews would be driving into Loveland not far from Shockey's encounter, when he would notice an animal lying down in the road, believing it to have been injured or as roadkill. The officer went to move it off of the icy road when suddenly it would spring up into a crouched position, closely resembling the creature that was encountered weeks earlier, although this time there was a mention
My dog is over here. My Frenchie's over here eating her feet.
Some officers just tend to do when something different is in front of them. He would pull out his revolver and shoot at the animal, with it scurrying off into the night, where it probably succumbed to its injuries from getting shot. Matthews rightfully received backlash for this account of the story, leading to him making...
Boy, that frog illustration has quite a butt on it, doesn't it? What's going on there?
Further statements in coming years, and we'll get into them later, but it really doesn't justify the shooting at all. In fact, it actually makes it worse. But our next sighting would be in August of 2016, when the world was in full-blown Pokemania following Pokemon Go's release, and people were given a reason to go touch some grass. And while this was going on, a man named Sam Jacobs and his girlfriend would be exploring the Loveland area in pursuit of Pokémons. But when they got to Lake Isabella, the only monster that they would find was a big-ass frog. Sam, whose phone was already available, would record this encounter, claiming that the amphibian was bipedal. But all that showed...
Oh, I couldn't freeze it in time on that from the lag. Gosh, this sucks. Okay. I want to see that one more time.
Mine was a big-ass frog. Sam, whose phone was already available...
Okay. Do you guys see that? What do you all think that is? Put a comment in the chat below. Do you think it's like, I don't know, a big green trash bag with two lights on up at the top? I don't know what that is. Welcome in, Seven. Thanks for being here.
Would record this encounter, claiming that the amphibian was bipedal, but all that shows in the footage is him chilling in a lake. The Loveland frog is one of the weirder cryptids, and when including its initial 1955 account, some would even write off the entire story as a hoax and not even bother looking at it from a cryptozoological angle. But still, several police officers went on to report the frogman, and in 2016, someone caught film of it. So, what's going on here? When delving into just how large frogs can get,
the
largest known frog...
What is that, like a Pac-Man frog or something? What is that thing? That thing's huge and it's kind of ugly. Yes, ladies, kiss your prince.
Alive today, the Goliath frog.
Holy shit! Look at the size of that thing! You know, my old man, when he was on his own as a kid in the Depression, he would hunt frogs. And he told me one time, have you ever had frog legs, Star? And I was like, you know, I haven't had any frog legs. And well, you should try them. They're delicious. You just take a little bit of bacon grease and some butter and you cook them on an open fire with some salt and pepper. They're delicious. I was just like, this is so gross sounding. Like, how did you even clean them? How did you dice them up, Dad? You know? Ugh.
Can reach up to 14 inches in length from snout to vent and weighs around 7.3 pounds. And the largest known frog ever, Beelzebufo from the late Cretaceous Madagascar, were thought to reach up to 16 inches in length and weighed
I'll
up
take
to
a
10
look and
pounds,
see what's going
and
on.
8 baby dinosaurs. Although more recently, their size was kind of downscaled to around 10 inches, but with a larger head. But we still don't really know for sure, as the fossil record is just a partial look into this past. We could find remains that change our minds yet again. Either way, both of them are far from the size of the Frogman, and are also far removed from Loveland, Ohio, with both being found in Africa. And also, none of these two frogs are known to walk on their hind legs.
Yeah, only Kermit does that. Oh, I want one of those little frogs. They are so cute. Spittle says, School of Thot, we have horny toads. When pregnant, they weigh 7 pounds. Live birth? Are you pulling my leg? Live birth at birth? It's an amphibian, though.
Although this could change. But regarding to the 70s encounters, we already do have a culprit as to what the Frogman was, and it comes from Officer Matthews' follow-up statements. In a 2001 email interview, Matthews would go on to say that the incident was blown out of proportion and hyperbolized, claiming that details such as the bipedal locomotion and froggish skin were all entirely made up by the media. And according to him, the creature he shot was recovered and identified as a tailless iguana that was not even around 3 feet long and was likely dumped in the wild by negligent pet owners. He speculated that for heat, in order to survive, the iguana would frequent a nearby heating facility, and on the night that he found it, poor lizard would become disoriented due to the sheer cold and the bright headlights. He also claims that the iguana was shown to Shockey and that he identified it as the animal he saw weeks prior. This could also explain the scratch marks on the guardrail, although what guardrail isn't already pretty beat up?
I knew a guy, the best fucking drummer I've ever seen. Phenomenal. One of the Gurcio kids from the Caribou Ranch. His name was James Gurcio. And he had this ginormous lizard that he had bought from South Africa. I don't even think it was legal. And he would rent these little tiny flats in Manhattan Beach and go surfing and chase the waves in between trying to play. And he would walk this ginormous lizard on the beach with on a leash. It was the most weird thing I'd ever seen at the time. And people were scared of that.
But I still have problems with Matthew's retelling of the story. Firstly, in his first account, he claims that he's seen a tail on the creature, which would contradict the earlier sightings from Shockey, which claimed there was no tail.
Sorry.
Iguanas can regrow their tails, but depending on the age, it would be very rough to do so in 2 weeks, especially in very cold situations, only to lose it again while getting shot. And on that note, another detail he includes is that the iguana presented no aggressive action and that he just shot it to collect it to show the team. That's just how fucked up is that? Screw catching it, you know. This creature was once somebody's pet, most likely. But no, I gotta shoot it to bring it in. Like, come on, man. Like, you couldn't just net it or something or throw a jacket over it. That's just messed up. And the sad thing is that the iguana probably was already on its last legs and approached the officers because it needed a warm spot. But the last thing that Officer Matthews did was shoot at the damn thing. Regarding the 1955 encounter, I think the best way to explain that account, given witnesses never lie, is that this magic encounter was just a group of ruffians pulling a prank. What were a bunch of teens doing on the side of the road at 3 a.m. with frog outfits and sparklers? Frankly, probably some weird stuff, but pranking people is the most likely thing. And regarding the 2016 case, there isn't really much of it that tells me that it isn't just a nighttime video of a big-ass frog in a pond. All we really see is the frog in the pond, and we don't really get any sense of the scale of the creature. I personally feel like Sam wanted to get a viral video by utilizing local folklore whilst out catching them Pokemans. The Frogman being a hoax makes the most logical sense, although you know just how there are a bunch of giant bipedal frogs that are said to exist in a state as populated as Ohio, and only like 5 people actually claim to see them. That's kind of off. Hell, they would have been in this area for a long time, and at least long enough for Native Americans in Ohio to.
Bear says, squat. Sasquatch frogs probably live in Canada. Yeah, maybe. I have to look it up.
Or accounts of them. But there's nothing.
Look it up right now.
The hoax angle is notorious, for towns and locations to promote travel and to build rich local folklore that the community can identify with. And Loveland sure loves these little frog dudes. And I mean, how can you not? And there you have it. One of the weirdest cryptids in Ohio, if not American history. If you believe Officer Matthews, this hoax that spawned from a tired businessman had willed itself into existence nearly 20 years later when some dude's iguana got out.
Are you pulling my leg? Sasquatch frog is a fictional term likely stemming from a mix-up with Sasquatch and various real species of frogs. It does not refer to a real animal. However, if you are interested in species that are term-like confused with, here is the information on a few candidates. Yeah, no, it's fictional. Very good.
And even if it isn't a frog, and even though it didn't have a sparkling wand, something magic did occur, and it would reinforce the legend of the Loveland frog that would make it a local story into a well-known cryptid encounter.
And if the Mormons were telling this story, this frog would be having a book, wearing glasses, magic glasses. Was that frog also wearing a hat and carrying a wand? Possibly.
During a time when
maybe it's the same one
had become larger than it had before, putting Loveland, Ohio on the map. Only in Ohio, man. Okay, is that everyone gone? Everyone clicked off? Good. Now I can stop lying. There are frog mages in Ohio. That's what it is, and that is the truth.
Aww,
they can cast a variety
cute.
of spells. They have tamed ground sloths, and they use them as like horses. And they will teach you their ways if you give them a jar of insects mixed in with Cheeto crumbs. I will see you in Ohio, my friends.
Interesting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell one story because they talked about pranks. Now, my whole family was into pranks, but especially me and George, my old man, right? My grandfather who raised me. And when he was a kid, during the Depression, when you were able to get away with this kind of stuff, when roads were still dirt, believe it or not, and, sometimes you had to crank the car to turn it on, he would go up the top of the overpass ways, these dirt roads, and he would stuff full-on dummies. Head, shirt, shoes, pants, and he would wait at the top of these bridges and wait for the cars to come down, and he'd throw them down on top of the cars as they're going by, and then he would laugh his ass off and run away. Isn't that bad? That's really bad. So then here comes genetics. Here I come born. I don't know this story. All of a sudden, I get this horrible idea. I think I was 5, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to go into my older brother's room, much older, by the way. We're talking 25, 26, 27 years older than me. My uncles, technically. And I took their shirts and their pants and their shoes, and I took one of my stuffed animals, and then I built a head around it. I was very creative, don't ask. Put a hat on it, and I turned off the lights, so when he would come home, all he would see was this guy sitting. I put it in a chair, so all he would see is this guy sitting there, and his girlfriend walked in first, and she screamed. I heard a big thud, and she went running as fast as she could, barreling past me. And then Fred, he's in there, and I hear another thud, and he knocked the thing over. I think he was going to fight it. Next thing I hear, it's, Star Marie, Mom! And I was in trouble. I got in trouble a lot for stuff like that because I was one of those kids. So there we go. We'll exchange more stories of what a bad little girl I was. Not really. I was just kind of mischievous and like to have fun. But anyways, thank you one and all for joining me, your host, Star Nova, at School of Thot, as we're participating, looking at the demise of society. Good times, right? But in the meantime, keep your prayers up, your faith up, and keep your family safe. And have a great weekend. And God bless. I'll see you later. Good night. Thanks for showing up.